Hi and welcome to the Average Tabletop Gamers. On this episode we are going to give our no holds barred, Brotherhood sanctioned, cartel verified review of Siege of the Citadel in the Mutant Chronicles world.
Hello, so today on the Average Tabletop Gamers we are going to be reviewing Siege of the Citadel, the Mutant Chronicles based game. I'm Sven.
I'm Ben.
And this is going to be our review. So you may have seen us unboxing this game.
And if you haven't yet, we'll break for a moment. And after you've seen it now, we can talk about this more.
And we'll also put a link to it in the bit at the end of this, the final screen. Yeah, so this was a game that you picked up a little while ago.
Yeah, and we got together, the group of us, one Saturday not so long ago. We sat down, we pulled out a table, started going through it. And do you know what? It was one of the most fun Saturdays I've had in a long time.
Yeah, I had kind of memories from first edition Mutant Chronicles roleplay flooding back every time I picked up a model or every time we had some kind of
horrific accident.
Yeah, or we pulled out one of the Centurions or whatever. I was kind of like, ooh, I remember them.
Yeah. During the unboxing, we went through just how well everything is made. The minis are lovely. But it's only when we kind of started playing it and we actually saw the use of various bits and bobs, like the character tray. I think this is lovely.
Yeah, because originally I thought, okay, that's kind of one of those things that normally would be a luxury accessory for the game, but actually seeing it used in the game and how easy it is to visualize where you're at, your health, your promotion points, what
equipment you've got
available,
things like that. It's a really easy way of just putting everything out and around with all of the reference material. You track your health with pegs, you track your promotion with pegs. It just keeps everything right there in front of you.
Yeah, and again, I think some games probably would have left that out, or, made it an upgrade, and you'd end up using beads or coins or counters or something like that, and it would get messy on the table surface, whereas that system there was great for, say, just moving the pegs around. We weren't always consistent across the group of how many promotion points we should be on, but those of us who can count, got it right.
Some of us can count really well,
yeah,
and we were good. We did it absolutely fine. It was other people mentioning Gary's who managed to get it all wrong.
But it was easy for us to then track that through because of the system. And I thought at first when we were unboxing the game, and I saw the trays, I was thinking, okay, that's like extra table real estate that is going to clutter everything up. But actually, it kind of declutters the table because it's much easier to see at a glance what health your various
and it keeps it all nice and compact as well, so you don't have that thing where everything's starting to spread around the table, etc. Kind of in terms of gameplay, things like the mission book, really easy to work through. The mission rules were really simple. The instructions for the layout, the special rules for each mission, etc. Again, really, really concise. There wasn't much faff.
And it was the fact that it gave us the sense of a campaign when we were playing, because the missions kind of tag on to the end of each other, which was really nice. So obviously we did start it off at the base level, the mission 1 battle plans thing, and I think the first mission we played, because we were playing the four of us versus the game itself. We weren't playing against an opposing player who was operating all the legions. So we were playing against the game, and I think the first mission, we all sat back and went, well, this is incredibly easy.
Yeah.
This game's not going to be much fun if it carries on at this pace, because we were just kind of
did think that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
How wrong we were.
But again, the game kind of ramped up in difficulty as we went through the missions, and as much as we were improving, so we were racing through the promotion points
To start
with, and that meant, we were getting better kit. But as we were doing that and leveling up, it meant all of a sudden we were getting much harder foes. And that little system there, the card that you've got, was amazing in terms of...
Should we try and put a...
See if we can show that. So
There
this
we
is
go.
the system essentially that determines what you should be fighting, how hard things are, what the difficult level is depending on your level. So you can see, if you move that one down a bit, you can see that this one says the 5 to 6 card. So this is it the average?
Yeah, so it's the average level of the party. Determines which one of these. So if you turn it over, as you'll see, it's a 7 to 8. So it does get harder. And each different type of foe that you come across rolls a different type of dice depending on what they're doing. So you've got your hand-to-hand, you've got your shooting, you've got how many health, what their defense value is, what they could move, and how many promotion points they're worth.
And obviously the first couple of levels, we were kind of...
Haha, watch
Yeah.
us. Look at us, we are mighty heroes.
It was kind of like the game had the built-in complacency generator of the first mission. That we did that classic thing. You get into a game, the first few things you fight, you roll over them easily, and then we were like, brilliant. And then we got the next mission, and we went, oh, this is a bit harder. And then by the time we went to mission 3...
Mission 3, and I don't think we got much further than Mission 3.
No, I mean, mission 3 was the one where it almost ended
It was
the
a bit
friendships.
touch and go, yeah.
There was some very every man for himself tactics in that last mission.
There was some very poor group decision making based on an individual perspective.
But, and that's what makes this game really nice, because it is a co-op game, but at the end of the day, it's a co-op game where you're playing for your corporation.
Yeah.
And
It was one of the nice things that we found after the first mission, kind of as the second, third mission come in, you start to get side missions.
yeah, and it was the side missions that meant we were trying to accomplish the main mission, but trying to like almost not hinder ourselves, but almost trying to kind of
Do things
make
for
sure-
ourselves as well.
Yeah, we were trying to get our side missions accomplished, and I think I think Gary had a mission where he wasn't going to use any of the upgrade cards.
Yeah.
If he didn't use any upgrade cards, it meant that what they called the actual wibbly cards that give you the special bit.
Oh yeah, the Doom Trooper cards. Or
Yeah,
whatever
the
they
Doom
are,
Trooper
yeah.
cards. So his side mission was, if you don't use any of them, get a buttload of promotion points. But actually, Gary played the good guy and helped us out, because the fact is, like, some of us would have been completely doomed. Others ran screaming for the door. That's all I'm going to say. But again, that really enhanced the play, because it actually rang true in terms of the
It played
role
through.
playing of it.
Yeah,
without even role playing the game,
Yeah.
we role played the game.
It really played well into the kind of mythos and the world as well. That yes, you are collectively trying to achieve these missions, but you also have your own individual kind of things that you are trying to do at the same time. The thing that I think really impressed us though was what they call the AI system.
Yeah, I mean, I've played games before that have an AI, so you can play against the game. But this was kind of a different level of sublime, really, in terms of how it wasn't. I mean, the first couple of times we tried to do it, it was a bit clumsy at first, but once we got into the flow
We were just rattling through
of
it.
knowing how to read those cards,
Yeah.
it meant, we got straight through. I mean, if we'll just show one of the AI cards so you can kind of see.
Let's try and get it in there. So there we go.
So these cards basically are flipped whenever you've got to deploy any enemy troops, when you've got to decide who gets attacked.
Whether it's bad guys moving.
Yeah, so the bad guy's moving, who they move towards, who moves, which a bad guy acts in which order. And so you can basically, it may just look like a load of random symbols, but you can follow the flow of this. So you go to the northernmost enemy.
To start with, so you have to orient the map.
Yep.
So it has a north on it. So once you've got your north set up on the map, the rest of it seems really easy. So, yeah, you start off with the northernmost figure, and then if there's more than one, you then go to the westernmost.
Yep.
If you're deploying on space E6
of that tile.
So that's the wrong one. So one of these big tiles here, so the game board tiles, let's just separate one off. There we are. So you've got A to whatever, A to G, and then 1 to 8. So E6 is around here somewhere. Yeah. And that's where it appears.
And yeah, it was, again, I think the first mission when we were trying to play that through, it was a bit clumsy, and we kind of were trying to work it out. But once you get that logic down of how you actually maneuver that card, I mean, it was very surprisingly so how quickly the board filled up with things, but how easy it was for us to place. And it even kind of gives you one of the faction symbols at the bottom, which is if there's two closer enemy, there's two of the players closest, or
if you've got equidistant away, then you pick, in this case you'd pick the Imperial one, or if you have to pick a corporation for any particular reason within game, you pick that, you could pick the card, and there you go, that's an Imperial one, there's a Mishima.
But what the card does is,
Capital.
When you're playing through the Dark Legion turn, when you're playing through their turn, not only does it select which model is going to be acting next, it gives you what they should do in which order. So, for example, this one here has...
So there we go. So if you saw when we did the close-up, you'd have seen the 3 symbols down the right-hand side. And
it says, if non-adjacent Doom Trooper is visible, perform a firearm attack. Then, if no Doom Troopers are adjacent, move towards the closest one. And then if none of those, perform close combat attack. So it kind of,
So if we were playing through with this scenario here, we'd pick the northernmost, which would be this chap, and then his first action would be non-adjacent Doom Trooper visible. So no, he's got no adjacent Doom Troopers, none of them are visible.
So he'd move towards the closest Doom Trooper,
which is going to be this chap here. So he's going to do his however many moves he gets to that, and then hopefully he would get within hand-to-hand range and perform his final action. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that was so smooth once we got into that, and the fact that means you can just you just flip the cards, and the cards are multi-purpose because they're used to determine
respawns,
where things are respawning,
where things spawn onto the board.
Happen.
Yeah.
So certain, game effects where they happen, what the enemy guys are doing. So which
tile it affects, where it affects it on the tile, where when you're spawning monsters in at the end of a turn or the start of a turn, you draw the card and it's the northernmost spawn point. And if there's more than one northern, you go to the westernmost spawn point. It's so simple.
And the gameplay kind of ramped up in line with our progression. So, and I think it was quite balanced in terms of, as I said, the first mission felt easy, but then I guess...
I think it's supposed to, isn't it?
Yeah, we were playing mission 1, and the idea is that the Doom Troopers that we had, they haven't got any, you've got very little good gear. So you've
got the very basic gear.
Very basic gear. It's not going to be putting you up against Praetorian Stalkers and things right from the get-go.
Never mind.
Yeah. So the
challenge, it's a good challenge.
Yeah, and I think if we carried on playing this through to the 4th and 5th missions,
or when we carry on playing
through the 4th and 5th missions, because we did all do the traditional take a photograph of everything at the end of the game. But when we play through and get those, I think we'll see the difficulty level will get to the point where actually we can't just charge headlong.
Yeah.
In fact, we found that in mission 3 because of the way that the
side missions.
The side missions affected it, plus the way that the enemy flowed through the board meant that we had to plan our movements quite a bit, because I think we were on a turn clock for that mission as well. So you've got to kind of think about how you plan your actions, which order you're going in with your 2 Doom Troopers, because the other thing as well is it's random initiative order.
Yeah.
And you can guarantee if you say, you're perfectly fine here as long as you go next. Oh, it's the bad guys. Which is what happened to me, where I had like one chance to pretty much get my guys out alive, and it
didn't happen.
No. But so that kind of spices the game as well, because you can only plan so far ahead because of the fact of you don't know who's going next. It could be one of the Doom Trooper factions, but it could just as equally be, the
bad guys.
The bad guys. And so you have to think about that when you're planning your tactics and your strategy in the game. So there was loads to think about in the game, as well as
some of the effect cards and equipment cards and how they affect things. Like smoke grenades. Smoke grenades are a horribly useful tool. They block an entire.
They're good when they're used right, and I think it's it's
used
when
right behind the phrase.
It's where the tactics come into it, and
getting your turn order right and activating things like that. This game is there's so many levels to it. It's never going to play through the same way twice. Yeah, I
mean, the fact that obviously there's a dice element in it means that you're always going to get the luck element coming in that changes the game. And considering there's Gary and myself involved in the game, we're never going to roll good dice. Yeah, no. We're never going to roll decent dice. So you've always got to take that into consideration as well. That you might go, okay, I'll hit that Razorite in the face with my Claymore, and I've rolled all nothing.
All nothings, yeah.
So there's that element in the game as well, and it's kind of
and also kind of playing the cooperative way against the AI, as it were, means that we haven't automatically hated Ian.
Yeah. But I mean, again, we're playing. We're playing against the fate of the deck, because if we were playing against a human opponent as the bad guy, it would be a lot different, because
the random element of the deck would be taken out.
We hit lucky a few times just because the randomness of which of the models got selected next meant that they would choke corridors, and mean we could get through. Whereas if it was a human player, they would all naturally play, the models in a different sequence to maximise their turn. But I think that's one of the nice elements of the game, and the fact that you can play it both ways means that
I think there's a huge amount of gameplay still especially in it, even when you finish the campaign.
Because again, especially the fact that the AI system means you could play the solo, and the fact that the box says 1 to 5 players. So again, now you've got several different game modes available,
and it's only going to get bigger as more and more bits become available that get released with some of the new expansions that they've done as part of it. It's going to be an evolving game. I certainly had a huge amount of fun. I think it's a really clever, well thought out game.
Yeah, I think we were surprised at how kind of we started playing and how quickly the day went, like how the time flew past, because we were kind of like so engrossed in the game that
we almost forgot to eat.
Yeah, almost forgot to order takeaway and things like that. But we kind of, we got so engrossed in playing the game, and again because there wasn't really any downtime of waiting for someone to plan and plot and strategize all of the hundreds of
bad guy figures,
legion.
Because you just pull in a card, right? Who is it? What they're doing?
And it meant the game kind of flowed really nicely. So that was a massive plus point. And again, I mean, they're really nice figures, and the history and the lore and the canon of the Mutant Chronicles stuff anyway There's so much rich stuff in there, and the artwork, you know, the
Paul Bono artwork.
Yeah, the artwork it's been around for years and
faithfully reproduced.
It all lends to the game being enjoyable, really, and
yeah, and it's got. I think it kind of from a slight side effect is it's really. I know, especially for like myself and yourself, it's kind of really reignited that Mutant Chronicles thing, so much so that we're even contemplating role playing again.
I mean, say like Mutant Chronicles was the when I decided I was going to get into role play. Mutant Chronicles first edition had just been released, and I remember buying a copy of the core rulebook, and then I bought all of the source books, and that was my game. That was the game that I ran as a thing. Yeah. And we got into Warzone and things like that. So this is kind of, you know, nearly 20 years on, over it is.
Oh, easily.
Over 20 years on, has kind of made me look at these things again and think, do you know, I really had a good time playing this universe. There was a lot in there, and this is just another element of that. And I think there's a lot in this game for everyone. It is like a tabletop skirmish game, but
but it's mission based. Yeah, it's strategy. It's deck management to a degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not an out and out war game, so I think it's like there are some people we know who are kind of, you know, turned off by out and out war games and tabletop skirmish games, that they maybe wouldn't play something like X-Wing because it's a bit too war gamey.
Yeah.
But actually this kind of falls in between that, where you've got all the elements of the tabletop skirmish bit that'll keep your solid war gamers happy, but you've got all the strategy and the card management things that'll keep your tabletop gamers happy. So people who like playing things like Elder Signs and
that kind of
that kind of game.
Mansions of Madness.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what the main one's called. I've got it in the house. Arkham Horror.
Horror.
So like that kind of game, because it is you versus the game, and it's you plotting your moves around that. So I think it kind of it's placed really well to kind of hit both sides of the tabletop gamer realm.
Absolutely, and it's one of those marketplaces and one of those regions that there's an awful lot going on in it at the moment. You know, Games Workshop, they've released their Blackstone Fortress and their Silver Tower, which are this style of game, you know, you versus the game. And there are other ones out there as well. Mantic are doing
They're doing the Hellboy game, which that is currently going through its Kickstarter kind of production at the moment. So we'll probably have a copy of that coming very soon. And again, that's very in the same kind of vein of this. It's a miniatures-based tabletop game.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on in that marketplace. I think it's a really exciting marketplace to be in, and I think, like, personally speaking, the advantage that this has, especially for me, is the history I have with it, the lore that it has, the fabulous artwork, and just the fact that I've got a real sentimental place in my heart for it.
But it's
still a bloody good game.
That aside, I mean, so Ian had never really. I don't think he didn't know a lot about the Mutant Chronicles, and he came to it without the rose-tinted spectacles of all the and again he was kind of as engrossed in the game as we were, being Mutant Chronicles fanboys. So I mean, this is definitely one where it's well worth your money if you like playing that kind of game. But as I say, because I think
I also think in that marketplace as well, I think that the core version of this is the cheap one.
Yep.
So I think this is working out at about 70 quid. I haven't double checked its retail value.
And actually, I think in terms of what you get in the box, if you put this next to, say, the Imperial Assault core box, which is a similar kind of game, I think you get a lot more in this than you do with Imperial Assault. And I think Imperial Assault, it's a good game, and we will look at that and see that in future episodes, I'm sure. It's got a lot going for it, but actually this, in terms of the way that we played it, I think
this had a lot more going for it.
Yeah, it flowed really nicely, and I think it might just be because we played this against the game.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think that style really suited us as a group as well.
Yeah.
That playing the AI and kind of trying to work against each other but together and the like. Yeah, I think it suited us as a group really well. Yeah, as Sven says, it looks great. It plays so well. The AI system is probably my favourite of the playing against the game systems that I've played or seen, and it's ridiculously good value. So, to be perfectly honest,
yeah, it's a capital investment.
Imperial leather.
Yeah.
That was terrible. Sorry about that.
So we're going to stick to reviews again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I would definitely. This is one that I think will
housing
suit.
up the wrong tree. Carry on.
This is definitely one that'll suit any games collection.
Yeah.
And you will literally get hours of enjoyment out of this game. And that's just with this core box. I know that there's going to be a lot more kind of coming to bulk this out in the future, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that when it arrives.
Yeah, the new set, like the Lunar City one and the Brotherhood one and things like this. So a whole new set of campaigns, a whole new set of map tiles, etc., etc. Just lots and lots of new bits that are coming. There's still a lot of stuff off the Kickstarter that's due as well, but I think it's all available retail as well. And if I remember rightly, this is retailing out through Fantasy Flight.
Yeah, so what we'll do is as normal, we'll put all the links down there. So if you just go and scroll down and see, you'll also find all the links for our various social media entities, where you can go and like, share and subscribe. There's even some nice playthrough photographs if you go and dig through our Instagram.
Where are they? I can't see them. There you go.
There we go.
That's us.
If you go and look at our Instagram from a few weeks ago, you'll see some nice photographs from when we played this through, and the table set up with all the various bits and pieces on.
Yeah.
And yeah, go and give us a like, go and give us a share, go and give us a retweet. If you like the YouTubes and you're new to us, make sure you give us a like, a share, and a subscribe, and hit the notify bell so that you know whenever the average tabletop gamers are putting our content out there for you.
Absolutely, and kind of while we're here, we're going to put links down here down to places to buy this, but also go and check out people like Modiphius and Cabinet and have a look around at some of the stuff that they do. It's not just about Mutant Chronicles. Modiphius especially has a huge range of things. They're really active in the roleplay game market at the moment. Some lovely games that they're producing and putting out there. They're a really good force that is happening in the industry at the moment. And I think Modiphius are doing some really good things.
Well,
so go and give them some love.
After playing this, it's definitely going to be a games brand that's going to attract me now to when I've got my money to spend on a game, because of the mechanics of this game. We loved it. Can't say anything bad about it at the moment until someone breaks the game when we play them, when we play them as an actual bad guy player. But when we do that, we'll come back and report, and we'll maybe even do some playthrough bits and pieces on this in the near future. So as I say, like, share, subscribe, and hit that notify bell so that when we do put those videos out, you get to see them. But until then,
thank you very much for joining us. I'm trying to think of one.
Let's just say goodbye for now, and we're not going to try to sign off with a hilarious joke.
Yeah, thanks a lot for turning up, and see you next time we do one. Bye now.